Today is Wednesday, May 11th, 2022. Welcome to the Survivor Fans Podcast. I'm Joanne.
And I'm Stacy.
And this is our recap of Survivor 42, Week 10.
This episode's titled Battle Royale, and that was spoken by Lindsay. Okay, we're coming back from Tribal. It's Kula Kula Night 19, and we see the Survivor logo fall over into the ocean. What was that foreshadowing? My goodness.
Okay, they're all excited about a successful blindside. And Mike's still going on about how High played him.
Can you hear that? Can you hear it? That's High's head rolling down the road, he says. The peasants have successfully blindsided King High. He is ecstatic. He's thrilled. He was the mastermind. It all happened at his bidding. And Romeo tells us that he enjoyed that one the most. And he's looking forward to seeing these big eagles eat each other up.
Yep. Because High kept saying his name all the time, Romeo. And wanting to get him out. But he was still voting with him.
I like Dre and Lindsay, though. They're on to other things. They're planning a shark hunt. That sounded pretty cool. Go and get them some shark to eat, they say.
Mm-hmm.
And she's excited because they can use that.
See them eating any.
They can use that time, more importantly, to plan how to use that steal a vote.
Yep. And Romeo also said that he is waiting for them to all pick each other off and just forget about little old him. He's not going to do anything. He's just going to sit there quietly.
Let those big eagles feast. Kula Kula Day 20. Maryanne reveals that she has an annual rate of toenail loss, which stuns the other castaways.
2 or 3 times a year.
Her toenails fall off. Goodness.
Her shoes are too tight then.
Lindsay takes the opportunity to inform her that annual loss of toenails is not normal.
Yeah. She seemed really horrified by that.
Yes.
I have lost toenails, but it's because of playing tennis and a little too aggressively and jamming my toe in my shoes over and over and over.
Yes.
So
usually it's pretty painful. That sounds like it's usually for Maryanne something that just happens and it's no surprise. And so it fell out.
She didn't seem to have much of a nail on that little toe. So
that's true. It was aggressively. The little piggy was aggressively trimmed.
But even Mike saw it. It was such a big reaction to such a little thing that happened. I thought it was cute. It was kind of
Now, what
funny.
did you think about this next little exchange? The voiceovers with Maryanne and then her and Romeo talking. She said, "People think I'm not a threat," and then they're into the what was it? Romeo and her were calling the survivor flip, where the bottoms are going to end up in control.
Yeah, she said, well, the thing about not being a big threat is it's good, but it makes it harder to win at the end if nobody sees what you're doing and didn't consider you a threat.
Yep.
They're not as likely to give you the prize.
Just depends on who you're sitting beside.
That's right.
Sandra is the exemplar of this. You can say, as long as it's not me, as long as it's not me, and you can sit out and sit out and sit out. But if at the end you end up sitting by Lil, well, you win.
Yeah. Well, the other 5 that are left in the game are out on the beach talking about Maryanne and Romeo.
Yes. Well, primarily Romeo.
Yeah.
Because he's stealing food.
Yeah.
Such a big survivor no-no.
Yeah, really big no-no.
Drea says that she's surprised that they're both still in the game. Well, you've had some say in that, Drea. I'm not sure how you get to surprised, but...
I tell you what, if he's eating Jonathan's food...
You're surprised Jonathan hadn't eaten a little bit of
would be
Romeo?
like- Jonathan could like put one palm on his forehead and go, "That's as close to the food as you're getting. You've had yours. We're eating the rest, and you ain't getting any closer."
The lackadaisical way he was going about it, too. And the fact that he dropped it in the sand. He
And
dropped a
didn't
clump
even-
of it.
Yeah, didn't even.
And then went back for more.
It's like, hello, you just dropped a little clump in the sand. They're gonna know you're eating if they walk up.
If you don't
and
get
you're
that,
telling
yeah.
the cameraman to shh.
Yeah.
And,
Oh,
and
man.
to us at home.
Such a survivor sin. I would say because they're hungry and because of how hard that is and how that ingrains resentment, there's virtually no chance that he could win. You're the guy who stole food.
Yeah. No.
I don't think you're going to be rewarded for that, Romeo.
Yeah.
What's
pretty-
Romeo's response? Screw them, I don't care.
Pretty sure that he gets nothing.
Yes.
No concession for anything until they get back to civilization and get fed well.
Well, it looks like that group is what they say they are in the final five, and Omar and Drea and Jonathan, Lindsay, and Mike, and then they agree to scrap it out once they get to the five.
Yep.
But we soon see that Mike has other
Soon as
plans.
they spread out. Mike told Omar he was just trying to make Drea feel safe so he can vote her out.
She's the biggest threat.
Yep. And because he wants her to vote Romeo and not play her shot in the dark, I'm sure, too. So he was doing a high. that's
I like
why
how
thought,
Drea
"Ooh, you might
kind
go
of
out."
busted him. She's like, "Hello, I need my water bottle back. If you're going to stand and talk at the well, please bring my water." She'd had enough of it after a certain point. And then Omar tells us that Mike's getting a big head, and he's feeling high after taking out High, and he's become the new High, and that's not going to work.
Yep. He's not going to be the new high because Mike is. I mean, not Mike.
Because Omar already is. Yes.
Yeah. But
You're getting a little too close to Omar's territory there, Mike.
well, I thought, I don't know if Omar actually sees that as clearly that, well, but no, you've been the real behind the scenes playing everyone.
Of course he does.
Person.
He knows that.
Well, he
How
knows
could he
it
not
from
know
his
that?
But of course,
But
none of them know that.
Yeah, it's classic survivor hypocrisy where
Yeah.
no one else can
He
feel
can't
that
let
way.
Anybody else do that because
Yeah.
that's my shtick.
Maryanne, Lindsay, and Drea are all talking about how hard they're hurting today. Day 20 is a tough one.
Ah, boy, the lack of food's really hitting them
Yep.
today.
Gonna-
Jonathan's over there, can't even roll over.
Yeah, gonna go get that shark. And so they head off to do that. Yeah, and Jonathan says moving's rough for him.
Well, I see that he does burn a lot of calories, and he has provided. And they were all
Doesn't-
talking about how grateful they were, and the minute he's not doing it,
It's
they don't
such a-
like him so much.
It's a fantastic old school survivor moment.
Yeah.
You think you're the provider, and because of
No
that, it's going to get you
appreciation.
something.
Yep.
That is fleeting. What have you done for them lately, Jonathan? What have you done for them lately?
Didn't he talk to Rupert before he went out there?
No. Clearly, he did
That
not.
role does not pay off typically.
No, it won't. Jonathan says, nobody sees how hard it is for me. And that's by design. He admits that's by design, but he
Yeah,
really
but he
wants
doesn't want
someone.
anybody to
he
see
wants
it.
someone to
He
acknowledge
wants
him.
them to be more
He
appreciative.
later says, I want props. Come on now, give me my props.
Yeah. Well, he deserves them, but yeah, he really wants them. Even though he wants to pretend he doesn't, he really does.
And it turns out Drea and Lindsay didn't know what kind of net they actually had.
Or what they were doing or anything else. And at least
Yeah.
Jonathan got up and went down there. But, Drea's like, Jonathan's acting hangry
And rude.
and rude.
And he's
Yes.
weak, so I'm going to take him out.
Yeah. They'd vote
'Cause he
him out of
didn't
here.
snap
He's
to
rude to me.
and do what I wanted when I wanted and fix this net. Why am I doing work?
And then Jonathan's like, and after everything I do, and she's on me about not helping. And then they bickered a little bit, and I thought, yeah, it sounds like everybody's hangry to me.
Yes. Yeah.
and exhausted and, ready to be done.
He even acknowledged that the bickering was going to come back to bite him. He knew it would, and sure enough, there is resentment stirring all around.
But he said he had kept that down all this time, but it's not staying down anymore. They're too tired. They don't have the energy to keep their true feelings hidden.
That's what they always say about Survivor.
And I think that's the bottom line.
Yeah, eventually you run out of energy to be able to hide whatever it was you were hiding.
But Lindsay's got some serious resentment as well. He dictates to me, and
he's not a great
gets
ally.
angry if I say everything, and they want to both ready to send him home. And he's breaking down. Well, yeah, who isn't breaking down? You're all breaking down.
More importantly, she says,
but he's rude and bossy.
He's in my way of winning.
True. And that's the
that's
real.
The core.
That's the real.
Yeah, right there.
It's the real issue. He's in my way. I want to beat him, and I might not be able to.
Moving on to day 21, it's time for the immunity challenge. But there's a twist. Here comes Probst talking to the camera. It's do or die time. So do or die is back. What would you do? It's a great question. Would you risk it?
No.
Nope.
No, I wouldn't.
For some of us, it's clear. For others, not so much.
No.
You got to balance on a narrow perch with basically your heels or the side of your foot, and your hands are behind your head. So
I seriously thought Mike would feel like he had to do that one.
Yeah, we were talking all week, and we just figured that he would be a part of that, and he would be at risk.
That he would feel like he was obligated to do that. I said, oh, Mike will have to do it. Jonathan and Lindsay will have to do it.
He's been talking so much about how he's here to play Survivor and he wants all the experiences.
Yeah, I didn't think the other people would, but it really surprised me that Mike didn't. So I was a little bit shocked already, and I thought, oh no, guess what? I have Lindsay and Jonathan saved.
Yeah. You gotta show one of two rocks. Purple says you play, and only two people chose to play, Lindsay and Jonathan.
Yeah, I couldn't tell that right at first. How many?
Showdown.
But
yeah, that was a bit of a surprise.
And they're like, whoa.
At least for me.
It's just two of them.
And that's when we get that line. Lindsay says it's going to be a battle royale, which it was going to be a battle royale regardless.
Yeah.
It's last man standing there, but okay.
And Maryanne tells us she's just nauseous just watching them do the challenge.
Probst is ecstatic. And it was at this point, too, I thought, I get it. I finally get it. He's angling for a game show. He's been angling for a game show these last 2 seasons. That's what it's all about. It's going to be something about a monster chasing you. He's got reels now. He's got copy he can share when he goes to interview for his next pitch.
Did you have a nightmare last night?
No. Probst tells us, though, that the monster's always starving and hungry, and there's nowhere to hide. That's going to be his game show, the monster.
I see. Okay, well, you know what surprised me was that Lindsay and Jonathan were shaking so hard early.
Yeah, in the first 5 minutes.
Early. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my goodness. I would almost like to stand up there for 3 or 4 seconds just to
feel it?
see.
Do you want me to build you one?
No. No, I wouldn't dare do it. But not with my neuropathy. It'd be like, oh no, I'm not doing that. Mm-mm. But there's part of me that would really like to know exactly.
How much does it hurt?
Yeah. How bad is that?
How quickly does the hurt set in?
Well, obviously, because those are the 2 toughest competitors left in the game, in my opinion. And if they were hurting that badly, that quickly, and Lindsay stepped off wanting desperately to beat Jonathan, that tells me all I need to know.
What did you think, though, as it was playing out? Did you think there was a chance she could win?
Oh, I totally thought she was going to.
I did, too, especially when Jonathan was early on. He was side-eyeing her. Like he was trying to get a sense of where...
Is she in pain?
Yeah.
Is she in as much pain as I am?
Is she about to struggle
out?
out?
Drop? I can't hold much longer.
Yeah, but no, they make it through the 5 minutes, and then Probst tells us 10 minutes, and then he's still side-eyeing her multiple times through that, and he's got his hat down so he can focus, and 12 minutes in, and then, Lindsay finally drops, which means
immediately. And he was right behind her.
Immediately, she goes to do or die. It was one thing that Jonathan won, but then she's in do or die.
Well, he was literally a second behind her. He was watching. Soon as she dropped, he was off of it.
Tells us in his confessional as we head to commercial that it wouldn't hurt for her to leave.
That's true, because she is his number one competitor.
Back at camp, we're still there, day 21. Drea says, I could hear my husband's voice again. He was saying, you suck at endurance challenges. Don't do this.
Challenges? Okay, yep.
And Lindsay is in the regret hole.
You know what? Were you surprised that Jonathan was saying it was his forearms that hurt so much? I mean, the last time I remembered them, their shoulders and their arms were numb all the way down. But I didn't hear anybody talking about their forearms. But Jonathan was like, my forearms are killing me.
With Nasir, it was his hand. He
his
didn't
hand
have
went
any...
completely numb.
Yeah.
And he couldn't get his shoulder back. He was having... And Xander looked like both arms were broken when he came at the shoulders when he came off of there.
Neither he nor Deshaun
He couldn't even move them
Yeah.
or manipulate them for a little bit.
Honestly, I didn't think too much about it, about where it was hurting. But
Well, that just struck me as odd. Okay.
Lindsay says that was a dumb decision, and I wanted to compete. And then we got a flashback of how she played football with the guys when she was in
And you said,
junior high and high
that's
school.
it. Lindsay's going home.
Here we got her montage, so she's good to
She's
go.
out of here.
She's leaving. She's going to die in the do or die. Oh. She said she's proud that she gave her all, but she's conflicted. She's really hurting right there in that confessional.
Well,
And they even go to Omar talking to Maryanne and he was saying, she shouldn't have done that. She really shouldn't have done that. She didn't have to do that.
It'd be like, well, if Jonathan was going to win anyway, why did I torture myself that way?
Drea says, well, I was cheering for her, but hoping she goes.
But I'm okay if she goes home because then
I'll
I
get
will
an
have
idol.
an idol.
Yes. Otherwise, Romeo goes.
That was at the back of both their minds, so
Yes.
they can't blame either one of, or they can't blame each other. So, Mike tells Lindsay, "Got to get Drea out, and
Mike's
then we
working.
can go to
He's-
Final Four.
King Mike is wheeling and dealing.
Got a straight line to Final Four if we get past Drea."
Then Mike goes to Jonathan and says, Drea. And Jonathan agrees. Drea's playing great. She needs to go.
Yeah, everybody seems to be on
Jonathan
board.
then to Maryanne. Drea.
Yep.
Maryanne agrees. She's playing really well. She is a threat.
And they didn't even know what all she had at that point.
No,
They were already.
they didn't know how gunned up she was.
I thought it was interesting that they all said nobody would beat her at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, really? Because I don't know that we had that. I don't feel like we had that information that everybody would vote for her. You know, I don't think they've shown us that she was that popular.
Right. Didn't know that she was such a front runner. So that was an interesting reveal.
I was surprised by that. So,
But then we often don't have the first freaking clue how the social game's playing out.
then we go to our contrarian, Omar. He wants Mike out. Everybody's on board for Drea.
Drea or Mike.
Yeah. No, let's look at Mike. Because, Mike tells Drea that it's Romeo. But she didn't buy it. She's already seeing through Mike. He's not lying very well.
Well, and she was on to him about not bringing her water bottle back when they were spending too much time at the well. And then she busts him again when he grabbing Omar to go off and talk again, kind of rushing Omar to finish praying. She was even surprised he was finished praying so quick.
And once again, the kiss of death is Drea telling Omar that she will take Mike's idol. But he's the only one she's going to tell.
Told him that, and she told him that Mike had told her that he was going to play his idol.
Yep, but she's going to take it from him. And of course, Omar proceeds to tell everyone.
Well, he told Lindsay. I don't know that we saw everyone. But we definitely saw him and Lindsay talking about it.
He told
and
more
he
than one.
told Lindsay that she was planning on stealing Mike's idol, and Lindsay responded with, well, maybe Mike gives us his idol.
Yeah, Lindsay was the one that came up with that, supposedly.
And then Omar tells us, oh, yeah. And then it's either one.
Tell Mikey he can give it to me, and then that will void Drea's knowledge of power, and then he can keep the idol.
I was just lamenting the fact that we don't get to see the social game and we don't get to see a lot of strategizing typically from the edit. But this season has been different, and this episode gave us a lot. So there was so much you and I were having trouble keeping up with all the stuff that was being shared and was going through there. We had so many options going into tribal council.
I was still very hopeful that we could get a vote-off point. We did our votes completely separate. We didn't talk about it, any of that. And then I said, have you made your picks? And you said, yeah. And I thought, oh, well, then I want to make my picks before I ask you who you voted for. So I made my picks after going through and looking through things and thinking about it. And then came back and it's like, we picked the same person again. And then I said, well, honey, we've been together so long, we think alike. And then you told me what you were thinking. It was like nothing like what I was thinking. It's totally.
The flip side of that is that we do influence each other. So, yeah.
we do, but
get there for different reasons.
I thought, oh, he's going to tell me it's because of this, just like I thought. And that didn't happen.
Nope. Doesn't work that way.
It does sometimes.
Try. Most of the time it doesn't, though, right?
Not in Survivor, for sure.
Tribal Council, night 21, Probst recaps the immunity challenge so the jury can hear all the juicy details. Jonathan said he had to participate and compete, and Lindsay said, I made a poor choice. She wasn't having it. She's like, nope, I should not have done that.
Well, and then, everybody was oh, no, you didn't make a poor choice.
Mike says, oh, Lindsay, you're a warrior. Maryanne said, well, it's not a bad decision. I want you to know that, okay? And so Lindsay has to placate Maryanne a little bit because Maryanne thinks she's really going out on a limb for her or something. Mm-hmm. I don't know. And Omar says, yeah, I knew I shouldn't do that, so I didn't do that. Not my strength.
Well, let's see if his parents were like, no, get an education. Don't play sports. Or I thought it was kind of funny.
The antithesis.
Okay. Yeah.
This is how it should work, Lindsay.
I thought Omar might do it. I wasn't sure about him. I didn't think Maryanne or Romeo. I didn't think Drea should because she shouldn't risk it because she's got so much stuff. Mm-hmm. She could just take an idol, and if she hadn't told someone, and she'd be fine. But so I didn't think she should do it, but I really thought the others would.
Maryanne confirms for Probst that there was indeed lots of scrambling, and Mike tells us there are different winks and nods that you have to watch for.
Or that you misinterpret. I like Drea pointing out about how she observed everything.
People go to the well and come back with empty canteens, or they go to get wood and come back with no wood. I observe. Yeah, they said it sounded like some kind of horror movie when Drea's deadpan. I observe.
The way she was saying it, it was kind of spooky and eerie, and but obviously she was paying attention to what was going on around her.
Omar says this is the most paranoid it's been, even though there could be a no vote.
Well, Andrea said, alliances flip on people all the time. I just play my game because that's what she can do.
Jonathan said it all went well for him because people want to work with you more and share more when you're safe. When you've got immunity, it can really work to your advantage.
Time for do or die. Jeff explains about the 3 boxes. One of them's got a flame, which equals life. And 2 have skulls, which equals death.
Once again, we saw someone flaunt the best strategy. They just completely ignored it, and it paid off for them.
Yeah. So, hey, I think she kind of went off her intuition.
And I thought Probst was doing it again. Last time
pointing at it,
we were suspicious because he did gesture towards where the fire was last time for Deshawn.
Not me.
It wasn't just me.
No, it was you. It wasn't me.
Okay, but there's more than you and me in the scheme of things that I'm talking about. I know other people were...
I only see you.
Okay, there we are. Anyway, Probst, if you go back and watch in season 41 where Deshawn goes through this, Probst actually gestures towards the fire And then when he talks about the die portion, he gestures towards where the 2 die boxes are.
Yeah.
And he did things a little differently this time in terms of the execution, but he did those same gestures again. It's just things weren't in the same place.
He was just talking with his hands,
He was.
as I said all
It
along.
was. So it may not have been causal last time.
You're like, he pointed at it. He pointed at it.
Could be coincidental because he did the same
gesturing
things.
with his hand.
Well, and I said we have to watch because he's doing the gestures again.
Yep.
And it
you
didn't
said,
work out.
It's in that one. He pointed to it, and it wasn't in that one. So
If he's gesturing
so
again.
we can lay that to rest now.
I got a link I'll put in the show notes where, what is that lady's name? She's like, billed as the smartest person in the world. Marilyn von Savant, I think. Anyway, there's this great thing that she used to write an article for Parade magazine or some of the newspapers, and where she did the Monty Hall problem, because this is just like that from Let's Make a Deal, and she explained it, and all these PhDs wrote in talking about how she was an embarrassment because she got this basic math wrong. And anyway, and then she proposed that, hey, let's have a bunch of kids in the schools. Anyway, you can go read it. It's a great explanation. There's a nice little table that lays out why you actually, to increase your chances, you should switch, which is what High was saying from over in the jury. You should always switch, and that's probability-wise you should. But again, she beat the odds.
It worked for Deshaun, and it worked
for Lindsay.
So
yeah. But there's a great
switch.
little tabled and explanation in that link if you go back and look at it, where you can see why it statistically it's in your favor to switch. But yes, she ended up being okay.
And she wins. Now, I had the impression that they couldn't vote for her. Did you get that impression?
No.
That she was now safe and they couldn't vote for her? He didn't say that. But I kind of felt like, him say, oh, and you're safe now. And it's like, is she? Or can they still vote her out if they choose to? I would like to know that little detail in the rule.
Okay.
For any,
I thought she was still in play, which would be just, that'd be rough. That'd definitely be an insult to injury if
they turn around and then
if
voted
you
her.
made it through the game of chance and then you got voted out.
Yeah.
So here we go. We get to see knowledge and power active again, just like last season. The person who has it has overshared.
Excuse me, Jeff.
Yeah.
I have a little thing here. I want to...
Mike, do you
read
have an
to you.
idol? Mike? No.
No.
And then we quick to the flashback where Mike and Omar were talking, and Mike gave his idol to Omar. So once again, it gets trumped because someone couldn't help but share they had it.
I told her.
Yeah.
She didn't listen to me through the TV, but I told her, don't do it. But, okay, you know what
She used everything she had access to.
Yeah.
I wonder why she didn't try to get Lindsay to do the steal a vote. Or I wonder if she did and they didn't show it.
I don't know.
Because you'd want to have everything, wouldn't you, if you were going?
I thought she was going to do a steal a vote, but I forgot she'd have to get Lindsay to...
Agree to get hers.
Yeah. But she did use her extra vote, which we saw she pulled out something. I wasn't sure at that point what it was, but...
Lindsay would potentially just steal Drea's vote at that point, so it could have ended up canceling out.
Yeah.
So a little bit of drama as the votes were read, but like you said, Drea had actually dropped an extra one on Mike, so it's 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, and then 4 and 5, and Drea's out.
Who did the third vote for Mike?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't. Thanks. You just highlighted the fact that I didn't look at the votes. I didn't look at who voted there, so I don't know the answer.
Yeah. Well, we'll check it out. We'll rewatch and check it out. I was just thinking, wait a minute. I was thinking there were only 2 votes for Mike from Drea. I thought everybody else voted for her.
I loved
she
this.
Put 2 votes on him.
Yeah, I love that exchange, how that all went down.
Awesome.
Mike's like, did you throw 2 on me? Yes, I threw 2 on you.
And
he was just so thrilled that she went that hard towards him. Oh, yeah, I love that.
And he's like, and I'm still coming to see you in Canada. I thought that was so exciting, and you could tell it was for Probst. He just stood there and let them play, just let them do their thing.
Let her go. Yeah, we thought the high thing went well, and with him, this got even better. She upped it to another level.
And he's right. This is so refreshing to see that, yes, they're playing the game. They played hard. They got hit. Okay, fine. Moving on. I enjoyed it. I got to do it.
Drea says she's loving Lindsay, and then she tells Jonathan, "I was never out to get you, even though you were coming for me."
You were coming for me, but I was never after you.
What was it she said to Maryanne? Keep being the baby? Is that what she said?
Tell what
it was
she
something
said.
like that. I'll have to go back and check.
The only thing of real note was calling out Omar.
Yeah.
Just so you all know, Omar is the only one I told.
Yes, only shared with one person, and it was him. So he did this.
I thought, okay, somebody finally highlighted him. That you better keep an eye on what you tell Omar.
First time anyone shined light in that direction that we know of.
Yep, but that might come back to hurt him.
And like you were saying, Probst is ecstatic because he says he's never seen a moment like that. The fierce gameplay and camaraderie. I loved even how the torch snuffing went. You know, that's going to be iconic. They're going to show that again down the road. So, and we're down to the final 6 now.
Yeah, that was just such an awesome feeling, and she just seemed so revved up. And Probst even said, "You want to say it? Go ahead."
Yeah.
Go ahead. To Travis spoken. Go ahead.
Yes.
And say it.
Gave her her due.
And she snuffed the torch with him.
With him, yeah. She even double-handed.
I just thought that was all
Slam
so cool.
snuff. Yeah.
I wasn't even really thinking about. I just lost my USB.
Yeah.
I was just like, that is awesome.
Welcome to the club.
That's how I felt last week when Hai just took it so well.
Yeah.
It made it fun.
Me too. Hers was even better.
Yeah, I think so too. That she stepped it up even more. So I hope it continues that way.
Guess who has an immunity idol now?
Lindsay.
Yeah. And Omar. What do you think Omar's going to do? Is he going to give it back?
I thought he was really going to vote out Mike.
I did too.
So he could keep that.
Thought we had a
and
shot.
Not worry about it.
Yeah.
Now,
Until we didn't.
If he doesn't give it back to Mike, then we got a whole nother situation. Because Mike will never trust him if he doesn't give it back to him. Even though Mike said something about him, he can keep it. I missed all of what he was saying with that, but we'll see how it plays out next week.
Now, flashing back to the beginning when Maryanne and Romeo were talking, and if it's Survivor Flip, like they were describing, and so they're 2 of the final 3. Who's the third in the final 3? If they flip it all on the Big Eagles, if they all take each other out. The only other person who's been described on the bottom with them is Omar. Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't know at this point if they're looking. They may all start looking at Omar differently.
Well,
or they may not.
Do you think Drea would vote for Omar to win?
I think
who wins that final 3? Maryanne, Omar, and Romeo.
I don't know. I don't know who would win that. But
so you would think
Omar would.
Yes, that it would be a slam dunk, easy peasy.
Ain't nobody giving it to Romeo.
All now, votes to Omar, but he may catch some resentment once it all comes to light.
That's entirely possible. We've seen many Survivor votes that were not a vote for a person. It was a not voting for you.
Exactly. Yep.
So, yeah, that happens. It's happened.
That's why there are questionable winners.
Yep.
There's winners and then there are winners. Some are more winners than others.
That's like, hey, however you get there, if you get there,
you got the money. You're the winner, but you got the not Lil vote. So, putting things in perspective, it doesn't really ramp you up in the pantheon.
Some people will think that and some won't. So.
Yeah, it can be a huge deal who you're sitting beside for sure, and then how people feel you did or did not respect them in the course of the game.
Check still goes to the bank.
That's true.
All right, next on Survivor, Jonathan said, well, it's now time to break up the Taku 4.
Yep, it's coming apart.
I'm not sure it wasn't already pretty broken up, but...
Yeah, well, I guess he's just saying it's in the open. Yes. Well, Omar made sure that it wasn't what it seemed to be from the merge on.
Yeah, because you thought they could just easily wipe out everyone but Taku Final Four.
Yeah.
That's it. Taku's, we're staying together. We're going to get to the Final Four and then we'll fight it out. But I doubt they'll do that. But because Lindsay really does seem to have quite a bit of resentment toward Jonathan. Or maybe it's just she's really afraid he'll win if he gets there.
I didn't. A lot of the other was a blur. The only other thing that stood out to me was Maryanne, because she was giving her cry face again and saying that she was not a goat to be herded.
Well,
she was talking to Romeo.
Yeah, and she said, told Romeo, none of this can be leaked. And she said, I'm a real contender to win.
So, pretty sure she's telling Romeo that she's got an idol and an extra vote? Do you think she's going to tell both? One, at least one not. She's sharing, because it's got to be what that is. Don't you think?
I'm hoping she's not telling him that. Not specifically. It's okay to say you're a contender, but, come on, don't.
Well, not a word of this can be leaked. I've got to think she's sharing. We've expected her to have already shared at this point, and maybe she didn't.
Yep. Though,
Drea almost made it. She almost made it.
Well, almost don't count. So.
Yeah.
But I loved her attitude, and I'm content.
I meant she almost made it without sharing, is what I was talking about. Not that.
Oh, okay. Yep, and she still had stuff to use, but oh well.
Because I think she would have played that idol. She was onto him. Had she taken Mike's idol, she would have played it, because she had figured out that something wasn't right.
Well, at least she used the
she would have saved herself
knowledge advantage, and she used her extra vote, which is all she could do at that point without Lindsay's aid.
Right.
So that's all she would have had left if she had survived.
And I goofed something with the scoring, so we'll have to give a JSFL update on Saturday.
Alrighty.
Well, we're certainly looking forward to hearing what you thought about this episode. Would you have participated in the challenge? Would you have shown the purple rock? Joanne says no. She's shaking her head again. How do you think they're doing? Who's going to be the Final Four? And who's impressed you the most? We're looking forward to hearing all that and more in this week's listener feedback show. The voicemail line is 206-350-1547, toll free 844-643-8737. You can record your own audio and attach it to an email, or type it up and we'll read it into the show for you. The email address is joanne@stacyshow@gmail.com. Feedback's due noon Pacific time on Saturdays. We ask you to keep it in that 3-minute range so that we can get everybody in. We've been having fantastic listener feedback shows. We'd love for you to come be a part.
Wait. I think if Omar gives Mike back his idol,
yes,
Mike will stay with him because he doesn't care that he was playing Drea.
Right?
He's doing it for him.
Right.
And he told him. So Mike is with him. And if they pull in Maryanne and Romeo as goats, get rid of Lindsay and Jonathan, I think that's probably your Final Four.
Could be. We're looking forward to hearing who you think the Final Four will be, too. Anything else?
Nope, I'm good.
Have a good one.